What's up, guys? It's Andy, and yes, I am in my pajamas. It is a Saturday afternoon. I worked earlier today, but we are going to start with part one of Let's Ride the Legacy of Rosemond Hill. It is from 2002. It's classic, and there are a lot of bugs, and I thought it would be a fun first game. It's a super quick play. We'll do this in the 5 parts for the 5 competitions, and I'll upload the videos. I'll try to make them quick and easy to follow, easy to skip through as well if you don't feel like watching all of the stuff. But first, let's get started by showing online where to download this, because computers will not, even with a CD-ROM adapter, will not accept this hardware anymore, and you can download it online and play it in a compatibility mode. I know nothing about computers, and this was super easy for me to figure out with some Google sleuthing, so I'm gonna show you how to do it to make it super easy. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to Google, and you're going to Google Legacy of Rosemond Hill download. You're going to go to Old Games Download, and you're going to go here to download the Windows screen, the file, whatever you want to call it. You won't play it directly, and it might actually download a compressed zip file. What that will look like, at least on my computer, mine ended up saving as a different drive. So if I go into the DVD drive here, it's a separate like CD-ROM drive that I have. You'll see it starts with competitions at Rosemond Hill. So that is the secondary open world competition long cross country part that I never played because I thought it was boring. So what we do from this screen is we go down to setup. You want the application, not the image files, not the BMP file. You want the actual application for setup. You're gonna right click and go to properties. You need to run this in a compatibility mode. So I have a very relatively new gaming computer. It's only 2 years old. I run this in the Windows Vista Service Pack 2 compatibility, and it seems to work. You would, from the drop-down window, pick the Service Pack 2. You would hit apply. Mine's already applied, so it's not going to work. You'd hit OK, and then you would, with your left mouse cursor, double-click to do the setup. It downloads in about 5 minutes. It's super easy. If you don't run it in compatibility mode, you cannot get past the second competition. There are a lot of bugs, too, that I haven't been able to override with the compatibility, and I remember them being an issue on my old desktop computer anyways. So I will show you how to bypass some of those, but basically that's it for the setup. So let's go ahead and get going on a new game. So we're gonna open it. You can go past these screens by hitting the space bar. Okay, so I have a load game, and I just wanna show you guys, if you go to the load screen, it shows nothing is saved. It doesn't show you the image. It normally would show you a saved image. My save game is down here, so we're not gonna go there. We're gonna start a new game. Let me adjust this volume, it's so loud. And then let's keep it in like the upper right-hand corner. Okay, so here's your intro. Welcome to the game, The Legacy of Rosemond Hill. Consists of 5 different levels, which all end with a riding competition. You are Annie. You wanna win the Kingswood Championship. In order to succeed, you have to be the best in the lower levels. You have to make sure your horse and yourself are prepared, yada, yada, yada. Do you want to view the tutorial? I would if you've not played the game before, but I have. When you watch the tutorial, if you hold the space bar, it speeds it up, and so you can get through it a lot faster, but we do not need to do that today.
Dear Annie, you probably know that your Aunt Martha has recently passed away after some time of illness. The reason for sending you this letter is that you are mentioned in her will. Her children are, of course, prime heirs, but as I am sure you already know, she owned a horse, and since none of the heirs are interested in the horse, she has left it to you. You don't have to accept the gift, of course, but let me know of your decision as soon as possible. If you are interested, we will send you pictures, the genealogical table, and some other information about the horse. Sincerely yours, Anderson's Law Firm.
So I will also tell you, sometimes the subtitles don't match, grammatical errors. I do believe this game was originally in German, at least from what I found on YouTube. So just keep that in mind. It's not perfect by any means, but I thought this was a really cool open world game. So it was ahead of its time for 2002. Like, look at this. 2002? Are you kidding me?
John, Melissa, guess what?
I always wanted my barn to look like this.
Oh, damn, the frightening comet.
Hi, Annie, what's up?
You won't believe this. I've inherited a horse. Isn't that great?
Oh, yeah? And what else have you dreamt? Come on, Annie. You are and always will be my groom. Nothing else. At least you'll never be an event rider.
Well, believe what you want. But if I'm telling the truth, can I rent a spare stall here?
That's a great idea, right, Melissa?
Okay. You and that hack won't ever become winners anyways. I'll show you who's the best when it comes to competing. Let's go, Comet.
Poor Comet.
Don't worry about it. I promise I'll help you. Let me see that horse now. Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, here. I got it in the mail today.
Dear Diary, something fantastic has happened. I have inherited a horse. His name is Alpha, and he's so amazing. And what's even more amazing is that I've gotten a stall at Rosemond Hill. That's the farm where Dad lived when he was a boy, up until someone named Mr. Willoughby swindled Grandpa out of all of his money and all of Rosemond Hill, and then Dad and his family had to move away. Rosemond Hill is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Just think if I could have lived there. The old Mr. Willoughby died a long time ago, and now his son, Stephen Willoughby, owns the place. But he's hardly ever there. John says that's because he travels so much on business. John takes care of the farm when Mr. Willoughby isn't home. It's almost as if Melissa, John, and I had the place all to ourselves. There are 2 more people who rent stalls at Rosemond Hill. I think they're called Linda and Michael, but I don't know them very well. Anyhow, there's a lot to think about when you own your own horse. You need to feed it, groom it, and clean out the stall. I really hope I'll manage. Bye for now. I'm gonna go riding.
It didn't happen here, but sometimes the audio will cut out before the text is done being read. They also have a term for like a use button. It's the space bar. So when it says press the use button to continue, hit space. Also, you can skip all of this, but because it's a walkthrough and maybe people just want to watch for fun, I'm going to do all of the audios, all of the readings, all of that sort of thing. So in the upper left-hand corner, the gauge will show you how far along you are in the gameplay. On the top right, you've got...
Hi, Annie.
Yeah. Hi, John. Okay.
Hi, John.
I want you to go away.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Perfect to train the horses. Okay. So at the top right, you've got Melissa's icon, John's icon, and then your horse's icon. When you have more than one horse, God, this audio is so loud. When you have more than one horse, you'll have 3 bars, but we only have 1 horse for now. So the first thing, when you hit tab, you can see all of, I don't know why it says prices. Those are literally the competitions. The events is how many tasks or timeline events you need to complete during this level. It'll show you under practice how many rounds of show jumping, steeplechase, and cross country you need to do. And then horse tasks will show you the chores you need to do in order to be invited to the horse show. The first event is that this fence is broken. So you can see bugs as you walk this front property. There are some glitches, but overall it's pretty good. So when it's lighting up and flashing like this, hit enter.
I found a hole in the fence. It needs to be fixed.
And then John's gonna come over and he's gonna fix the fence. Ta-da! I've only ever figured these things out by walking around the property over and over and over again to find things every level. Wait for him to talk to you.
It was good that you discovered the hole. Now
Now I
gonna
can
get
patch
the hole
it.
so I can fix it.
Okay, see how it jumped up in the left corner to 41? So we've completed that. Somehow Jen teleported all the way over there and miraculously the fence is fixed. If you hit tab, it counts 1 of the 24 total events. The other thing that's extremely frustrating is that the fence is one of the events. There are 22 events, not 24 events. I've played this game over and over. I've read all the walkthroughs. I've seen all the online walkthroughs. There are not 24 events. So when you look at the total 24, you'll only ever hit 22. It's really aggravating, but unfortunately, there is nothing we can do about it. This camera angle is super weird. It's not normally like this. It's usually a little bit higher. You can't go into the house until the 3rd level, I think. And we're gonna go get some apples because you're gonna need them. So if you go behind the house, there are these trees, and walk up to the tree and just hit enter as the little apples light up. You probably want maybe 4 when it's just alpha. And then you're gonna go back, that great tree graphics back there. Okay, so when you approach a door, hit enter and it'll open, and then you can walk in.
Annie, I need to borrow a horse brush from you. I can't find mine.
For the sake of the game and progression in the game, you want to answer yes to any time they ask you favors.
Of course you may. Thanks for your help.
Okay, so see, now we're up to 50%, so that's pretty good. This is where your horse is. John's horse is in here.
This is John's horse.
And then Comet, so I'm hitting enter to open and close these.
Hi, Melissa. I saw your diary in the club room. You probably shouldn't leave it lying around. What's that supposed to mean? John thought that it looked really good when Comet and I jumped.
How nice.
I see.
Now normally,
Competition. See you later.
I will normally turn out those 2 horses. There are not other horses in the barn, and when you get more horses, they'll go here, and they will also go here. We've got the break room. Sometimes you have to get really close and it knocks you out of the way or knocks you up. You can hit enter, grab a piece of candy for your horse, a little peppermint. So anytime something lights up, if you hit enter, it'll use that item, and if you want to put an item back, you hit spacebar. So let's go in by alpha.
This is my horse. My horse likes to be taken care of, and he likes it when I groom him.
When you light him up by looking at him, depending, God, it really doesn't want to work right now. Okay, well, when you light up the horse, that's when you get the audio. You can leave the doors open. So I highlighted the brush, hit enter. I'm gonna highlight him.
I'm going to groom you.
Ta-da.
Put it back where I got it.
To put it back.
Annie,
Oh, Jesus.
Could you grab a bale of hay and put it in the storage?
God, he scares me. Yes, I will do that.
Thanks.
Okay. Now I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was doing. If you look at your horse and press space,
Nice horse.
it'll pet. When you're in the stall, if you hit tilde, which is that wiggly symbol up in the left-hand side of your keyboard, it'll show you everything about alpha. Health, we want 100% on all the horses before we compete, no matter what. Do not, I just picked this up the first time I played this recently. 15.7 hands is not an accurate height on a horse. It's hilarious, but unfortunately not a real thing.
I get food for my horse from the fodder box. I use the bucket and fill it up with food.
So we light them up, it tells us what we need to do. John is literally frozen there. So the bucket down here, enter, hit enter and spacebar to fill the bucket. Once it's lit up, hit space. Ta-da!
I better put the
He
bucket
gets
back
food.
so that John can use it to feed his horse.
So then I go and put this back. You always have to put it back. All the little bugs, it's lovely. I automatically usually put a bridle on the horse. So when you face him and he's lit up, you hit spacebar. That way, if you want to turn him out, like I normally do, you hit enter and ta-da, you're walking. Beautiful. Spacebar to let him go. I usually close the doors because I try to play this game as like a logical horse game where we just don't leave doors open on unattended horses. Sometimes when I'm bored, I'll just go around and sweep. You can sweep all the little haze off the ground. This will be a task later in the game. But sometimes I like to just do it for fun while I'm waiting for the horses to need something, especially later in the game. You're going to have a lot of time to get 3 horses up to 100%. So you definitely are going to need some time killers. You don't have to go all the way to the hay, you just have to light them up. And then there is a secret one back here, which I think I got. Yeah, I did. Okay. Wonderful. Let's go get that bale of hay that I already forgot about. So really, I think the only 2 tasks for this first part is spacebar to put that back, is to get the hay bale and to let Melissa borrow your brush. I think if you do the activities out of order, then it contributes to that faulty end
I
screen.
can't pass through here.
Oh, goodness, I forgot. It's too wide. Down and around, and see the hay kind of like comes back and repopulates. So it's just something to keep you busy. So hit the space bar when the hay bales light up. I, for the longest time as a kid, had no idea where the hay was. I was trying to spork the hay that was by the pitchfork, which is, in hindsight, very stupid. So then hit your space bar. Ta-da. Okay, so now we've done the 2 things that we needed to do with this level. We have 3 total activities that we've done because of fixing the fence, and we still need to take our horse for a ride, which I guarantee you is going to be the next thing. Oh, look at
Before I'm
that.
riding, I have to put the bridle and saddle on the horse. The bridle and saddle are hanging in the stable. It's important to take good care of your horse so that it stays healthy and performs well in competitions. It's also important to practice all of the events at Rosemond Hill.
So one event will take care of the necessity. When you want to get on, hit space.
Come on.
I just do all 3 right away because it meets that requirement for getting to the competition. Shortcuts are your friend. Get comfortable taking shortcuts. Otherwise, you will never win. If it's a wide fence, press the up arrow over it. Short, tall fences, you don't need the depth.
Thank you for the nice performance.
You also don't want to exceed that second bar on the right because that means your horse is tired. If your horse is tired too much through the first 2 events, the vet will pull you up from doing cross country and you'll get kicked out of the competition. So you don't want that. I try to remind myself Alpha is literally the slowest horse in the game. So these kind of take forever, which is really crummy. So I just kind of keep pulsating on the up arrow. I slow down. I don't push forward when I'm trying to line up with a fence. It allows me to get a straighter approach. They're very generous with how close or far you can jump. Sometimes like that hill jump, you can like just run up it, but you will get refusals if you don't hit the spacebar. So basically, if you are in proximity to a fence and you're between the 2 flags, you need to hit the spacebar. The white on the bottom keeps track of how far you are, and there is no optimum time, so you just have to be the fastest.
Thank you for the nice performance.
It's super easy. And now we're gonna go do cross country. All the levels after this, you will only be required to do show jumping, I believe. So it's super easy. And I gotta make sure I remember where I end. Okay, we end over there, so I have to come straight. Sometimes it's hard to figure out how to get out of here because this is open world. So there are no transition screens while you are playing, which is freaking wild. And we're going. Some of these turns too, because of the lag in the graphics, you can end up having issues. See, we can cut all the way across here. You can end up having issues with getting really fast on the turns. And so you have to lay off that forward arrow with your speed. Otherwise, you could find yourself in some deep doo-doo. The competitions get progressively harder. And so you have to be very careful. The beach, he runs the fastest. I don't know why. We are almost home stretch. When you do the first competition, it is literally these courses. So if you can get through these in the practice run, you will be great. Practice where you're going to cut your corners. My advice for the other competitions is watching on YouTube the best shortcuts to take. I usually do that before each competition just because some of the paths are really hard to follow on the ground because they're made to look really natural. The Kingswood Championship is the worst. I literally get lost in cross country all the time because you cannot see where the hell you're supposed to go. Okay, when you're done, go back out this way past the in-gate or you will get lost. So now you see it only says 86 on the gameplay. So we can play, I think your horses have to be at 100%, hit enter to get off. Your horses have to be at 100% health. You have to have all the events, and I think you have to do all of the chores to be at 100, maybe not. I try to get as high as I can until I'm absolutely bored out of my mind.
It's good to take your horse out to the pasture.
Yeah.
They don't like to be in the stable all the time. The horse
Has to have a bridle on.
so I can lead him in and out of the stable.
Yes, there are no differences between bridles and halters in case you did not know. So let's see. Also, if you're holding your horse, you can see the health. So he's at 72%. So we are not even close. We'll see how much.
You can let a horse walk freely here.
And this is the best because they actually can run around on their own, which is pretty sick. I usually don't stand out here, but that first level, their needs are going to recycle faster. When you've got 2 or 3 horses, it balances between the 2 of them one at a time. So it takes longer for them to like need an activity. So I'm just going to stand here until he decides he needs something else. You can turn out John and Melissa's horses and you can just like leave them out here and they just like run around. So Alpha needs to be pet.
It's important to remember to pet your horse. Nice horse.
So ta-da. Now I'm at gameplay 100. He's at 100 health. Let's take him back inside. Hit enter to open your doors. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We are going to save before. So I'm going to lock him in. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I don't know where that bridle came from. So we're going to go out. And here's how we're going to save. I get myself over here, so I'm ready to go. Hit escape. Save game. Pick a spot. This will happen every time you save. It is fine. Hit OK. It'll close down. Then we're going to open it and go back to the competition. Okay. So our game is saved. We're going to click back into the game. Skip over this. Skip over that. I'm gonna go load game. See how there's no picture, but we know we saved it here? So click that. Ta-da, there you are. Let's go to the competition. If you go to John, he'll say, I think you're ready to compete now. Well, no shit, John. We got the mailbox thing flashing at us. You are invited to join the competition, the Rosemond Hill Horse Trials. Hit space. You don't get an option to pick a horse because
Warm welcome to the Rosemond Hill Horse Trials.
it is what it
where
is.
Today we will see several young
You only have one.
promising equestrians in the sport's most difficult event, our own outdoor riding competition. In order to place, each segment of the competition must be completed in order.
Why you lay like that?
First comes jumping, then steeplechase, and finally the ultimate test of endurance, the cross-country course. We wish the competitors the best of luck. Thank you for the nice performance.
I did take the longer route, but I still got first. Because for some reason, he decided he was gonna go really fast. You can also double hit your space bar to get them to jump. That is how you do the bounces. There will be many bounces in cross country and in show jumping. That's my cat's food.
Thank you for the nice performance.
Okay. Steeplechase is done.
Ride up to me and make a halt in front of me so that I can examine the horse's health and fitness. I will be fairly...
Our saddle is missing.
I'm going to check the pulse and see whether the steeplechase has caused any injury.
And we're just going straight into cross country. It always cuts the vet off. It's not a big deal. Ooh, God, these turnkeys are awful. Slow corners. And then fast long sides. When you cut corners in competition, be careful you don't hit one of the side pieces, the little barriers, because it will cause you to like stop. It won't mark as a refusal, but it'll slow you down. When cutting, you always want to stay close to the path so you know where you're going, especially in the later competitions. All right, you want to go slow here so you don't run into the fence because it's not there on the practice fence, so. Nice and slow. Again, nice and slow so you can line up. A lot of these are right out of a turn. Very easy to get refusals if you're not lined up and slow enough. Home stretch, just go.
Thank you for the nice performance.
Beautiful. First place again. And we won.
Congratulations. Sometimes you really surprise me, Annie.
John will be the one to congratulate you if you take second. I will pick a new horse because Alpha will not win in future ones. You want to look for something that says fast, so you don't want anything that says lazy. So Amadeus is always slow. Do it. Easy to ride horses are going to be the horses that you don't want. Cocktail's usually the one I pick because he's very fast. Barbie is okay. She looks just like Alpha, just a little bit bigger, so I don't like to pick her. Mosaic is pretty good, but the white horses look weird in this game, so I don't usually pick them. Monster is also a good option. I do like the smaller horses. Cocktail is the fastest out of all of them, and I think I'm gonna pick, let's see. I feel like Cocktail jumps basically everything. I do love me a little Cocktail. Monster's the same size though. I'm gonna switch it up. Let's go Monster.
Dear Diary, I met Mr. Willoughby today for the first time. Actually, he seems to be very nice. He welcomed me to Rosemond Hill and said that he thought it was nice that someone from my family was back at the farm. It wasn't exactly what I had expected. He said that he had seen me on the cross-country track the other day and that he was impressed by my riding skills. I didn't know that he knew or even cared about horses. I never would have thought he was so nice. Melissa, on the other hand, isn't always that nice. You can never be sure about her. But if I treat her with kindness, maybe she will be nicer to me. We'll see. I have discovered that someone has put up a ladder to the attic in the stable. I wonder what's up there. It's probably just old junk, but I think I'm going to check it out someday.
Will you now? All right, folks, that's going to be the end of this video. Remember to save your game in the same spot so you don't lose where you are at. We'll see you in part 2.